from the Jackson County Health Department, the Director of the Environmental Health Division, Don Haydick. Don, good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Hope you had a good holiday.
Well, I did. Thanks. How about you?
Not bad. Busy, but not too hectic.
Well, good. Back to work. Always a lot of things that are in your domain in environmental health. And one of those is one that a lot of people never think about because you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it. Radon.
Right. Radon gas. It actually is a public health problem. And as you mentioned, it is odorless and colorless, and you can't see it. So the only way to know if you have a problem is actually to test for it. And it is January. Every year, January is Radon Action Month. So we like to get the word out and have people try to get their homes tested to see if they have a problem. And if they do have a problem, if the levels are above average, it is a fixable problem. And
fixable.
Yes, exactly. And you can lower your risk level.
All right, so how do you know if you are at risk or if you should consider getting your home tested?
Well, everybody should consider getting their home tested.
Okay.
Because you can't tell just by geography or looking at the construction of your house or the age of your house. You just can't tell whether you have a problem. The EPA recommends that you test. You can do a short-term test, which takes 3 to 7 days, or you can do a long-term test, 90 days or more up to a year. Radon levels will fluctuate through the seasons. Wintertime tends to be the highest levels because of weather conditions, pressure gradients, colder temperatures. Your heat is on and you get this, what's called the chimney effect.
Yeah, and your windows are closed up.
Correct.
So you can do, you offer the test for $11.
Well, not in January. We do a more than half off sale.
Oh.
$5 for a short-term test kit.
Oh, that's a great deal. And they just need to visit mi.radon.com?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And or come into our offices. That mi.radon, that's going to give you information. You can also get your test kits directly from the state of Michigan via the mail. You can order online. They'll come to your door with instructions, and you can also get the long-term kits from the state.
All right, so how do you know whether you should have the short-term or the long-term kit?
Well, both kits are valid, okay? Short-term kits will give you basically the indication snapshot in time, okay? Because it is a 3 to 7 day test. So it's really giving you that snapshot in time, what is happening right now versus that long-term kit, which will give you your average value over the course of up to a year. Because levels, as I mentioned, do go up and down to some extent. Stormy, low pressure, windy days, your levels are going to go up because the wind is sucking the air out of your house. Mm-hmm. That air has to be replaced. Generally, it comes up from the basement, from the foundation, cracks and holes in your foundation, and that is the source of your radon gas, which is in the soil around your house and under your house.
All right. What about Jackson County? Is our county a high-risk area for radon?
It actually is, and as you can see from the map on your screen,
no.
We are down there in the dark green, which is the highest risk level. It's estimated that about a quarter of our homes will test out above 4 picocuries per liter, and that kind of is the cutoff point for, if you're above 4, you want to consider doing a mitigation system to lower your levels. If you're below 4, you're doing pretty good.
Is having a basement more likely that you would have radon in your home?
Well, hard to say. There's too many variables to really say yes or no. People with crawl spaces can have a radon problem. People with slab-on-grade homes, like myself, can have a radon problem.
It can come up through the concrete.
It can. You know, all concrete cracks, and those cracks are entry points. And you can have the greatest home with the best foundation, and over time, cracks will develop.
Well, like it sounds, radon is radioactive. So, you know, in the movies, if someone gets is exposed to radioactivity, it could be the end.
Well, it's a slow process when it comes to radon because you're absolutely right. It is a radioactive element. It is a decay product from uranium, which is to some extent everywhere in the soil. And that's why the levels fluctuate even from house to house. And it is that radioactive process of trying to get to a more stable state. It lets off a burst of beta energy, which is radioactive, high energy. We're breathing in a little bit of radon right now.
As we speak.
As we speak.
Oh my gosh.
You walk outside, you're breathing in a little bit of radon. Those little elements are in the air, floating around. You breathe them in. If perchance one of those atoms decays, because it wants to do that, it gives off that burst of energy next to a lung cell, which can mutate the lung cell, which can possibly lead to lung cancer.
All right, so you're home, you get the test back, you find out that you're above the 4 or whatever level that you shouldn't be above. What can you do about it?
Well, if you happen to have a basement and you happen to have a sump pit that's tied into your footing drains, that's the most common method for the access point to use to get rid of, to provide a different route for the radon gas to go.
Like a sump pump?
Yeah, exactly. So you have that round sump pit, okay, that you're using for your footing drains. And there'll be a pump in there. And, during the spring, high water, it's pumping the water out, what have you, okay. Well, they will also use that sump pit. They'll put another pipe in there with a sealed cover, okay. It still works the way it's supposed to for water, but that other pipe is connected to a fan that's constantly running, sucking air out and taking it outside.
Okay.
So what that does is it provides an easier way for the soil gas to not come into your house, and it gets exited
So
outside.
a contractor would have to come in and do this?
Yes. And the state of Michigan does have contractor lists. They also have lists for measurement contractors too. And so you can, if you don't want to do the testing yourself, you can hire a testing contractor, and just hire one from one of the certified lists. And
Yeah, and
that's
you have-
highly recommended.
And you have all those resources available at the health department, and all they have to do is visit your website or give you a call.
Or get to the state website, and there's a ton of information. If you can't write this stuff down, just type in Michigan radon. You'll get to either the Michigan site or the EPA radon program. You'll get to the EPA program. Tons of information.
Great. Good to have you here during Radon Awareness Month. Thanks, Don.
Well, thank you.
From the Jackson County Health Department, Don Haydock.